Hey guys, it's Dr. Ryan from Infinite Wellness Chiropractic here in Edwardsville, Illinois. What I'm going to start doing here is for as long as I can keep thinking of things to talk about. I'm going to try to put these little 10-minute videos together for all of you folks out there that know me, and hopefully you'll share these things out there with everybody that you know, because one thing that I'm passionate about is just helping people. I just want to get information out to you and to your families that could potentially save your lives, your kids' lives, keep you from getting sick, and have you deal with all the crap that everyone else out there deals with. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and one thing that I've just loved to kind of read about and learn about is food, nutrition, all of the stuff that goes along with being healthy, exercise, the best types of that, all that stuff. So these videos are going to contain all that stuff and then some. It may get on controversial subjects sometimes. I'm sorry if it does. I'm not trying to piss anybody off. The idea here is to get information out to you and to your families that, like I said, could potentially save your life. And you can take it or leave it, and you can get mad at me if you want, or you can say, hey, great job, Ryan, or whatever. But again, this is just something I feel God has called me to do in my life, and I just want to just get it out there. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today, this is actually one of the first videos that we've done. I'm going to put this on YouTube, and then I'm going to share it out to all the Facebook people. And again, please share this with all your friends. The first thing we're going to talk about is something with food, because everybody always cares and loves to talk about food because it's a part of everyone's day. And so the first thing I'm going to talk about is animal products, and most importantly, like meat today. Not going to get into dairy right now. We'll have our own little 10-minute on dairy, but really want to just talk about meat and why it's important to make sure you're eating the correct meat. Because some of it's gotten bad names or bad reputations over the last few years, and it's just absolutely crazy to hear. And the thing is it's still out there. Like, people still think this way. Medical doctors still think this way. Other people that don't read about, maybe haven't read an article in the last 300 years still think this way. And it's just nuts to me. So the first thing, and we'll get into a lot of different things, but it's just naturally raised meats that are supposed to, that eat what they're, like cows that eat grass, for instance. Let's just start there, and this will go wherever it goes, just like every one of these videos is going to be. So like grass-fed meat versus corn-fed beef, or beef versus grass-fed beef versus corn-fed or beef. And so this is just a huge subject, because for me, we eat a lot of beef. And when we first started, now I've got a little girl, she's 5, she, when she was first born, and she first started eating solids and meats and things like that, I wanted to make sure that we were giving her the best thing that we possibly could. And so this is really how, that we've started to change our life and our lifestyle and what we eat, is we definitely go grass-fed beef. Why do we do that? Because one, the fatty acid ratios are extremely different than what corn-fed beef is. Corn-fed beef, you're looking anywhere from 24 to 56 to 1 from omega-6 to omega-3s. Omega-6, just to give you an idea, it's inflammatory. It causes inflammation. It causes things like high cholesterol, heart disease, cancer, all of those things. That's what high inflammation does. And your grain-fed beef, the things that eat things like corn, soy, all that junk out there, I even heard, these farmers are now feeding them candy to fatten them up. It's absolutely just nuts what these people will freaking feed their meat, and then they're going to go and sell it to people, and then they're wondering why, I don't know why I'm sick. It must be bad genes. And it's just, it's literally just stupid to think about. And so that's one big thing. You want that grass-fed. You want grass-fed and grass-finished, because a lot of cows, even if it says grass-fed, they're not grass-finished beef. They are fed grass up to a certain period, and I've heard up to even as high as 180 days before slaughter. Then they're introduced, well, they can still eat grass, but we've got this big bowl of corn over here that's a lot sweeter, it's a lot easier, they can go right up to it and just chow down and get fat. What do you think the cow's going to pick? So grass-fed, grass-finished beef, if you can get it locally sourced, definitely do so. That way you can even talk. I've talked to the farmer. I'm like, hey, I want to have as little, human interference as possible. Please don't vaccinate these things. I don't want those drugs in there. I don't put them in my daughter. I sure as heck don't want it in her food supply. Please don't be pumping them full of antibiotics. Antibiotics, did you know that your food source, actually animals and mostly cattle, they consume or they take up 85% of the world's I'm not going to say, I know it's not antibacterials, but antibiotics. And so it's just nuts. So if your animal's eating genetically modified foods that no one should eat, and so that therefore is making it sicker, then it's eating foods, even if it was organic corn, it's still going to make that animal sicker because corn will make you sick no matter how you shake it. So what you have to understand is you want a grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Locally sourced is great if you can, and you want as little human intervention as possible because it makes animals sick. God did it right when God created this whole thing, and what we've tried to do is intervene so that it's quicker, cheaper, whatever, and basically we've screwed it all up. And so not only with grass-fed, grass-finished beef, but also if you look at things like farmed fish. Most of the tilapia out there is farmed fish. It's junk, it's crap, and it's going to make you sick. It's not like eating a wild-caught salmon. I've got some friend of mine from back home. She got me some wild-caught salmon. That stuff is like bright red when you look at it. If you go to the store locally here, you see a farmed salmon, it'll make you sick. You wonder why people are getting sick and they're eating fish, and they're like, oh, I'm still gaining weight, or my cholesterol won't go down, or this, that, and the other. They're worried about cholesterol still because they don't understand that. And we'll talk about that in a video. Check my time here. Oh yeah, we're doing good. But so what I want you to understand is that these animals were meant to eat certain things, and when we intervene, we create a screwed up piece of meat or a screwed up animal, which therefore produces a screwed up piece of meat, and then we wonder why in the world we're getting sick. The things that are in grass-fed beef that are healthy for you, omega-3 fats, again, a lot of that, in fish, obviously you hear about that all the time. Omega-3s are vital. It makes up your cell wall, and you're made of 70 plus trillion cells. And so every cell in your body is affected when you eat a grass-fed, grass-finished beef over a non-grass-fed, just corn-fed or whatever, just feedlot junk. And so also too with the farm-raised fish. And so don't eat farm-raised fish because they feed them dog food. We raised fish when we were kids, and we had a lake. We threw dog food to them. It's corn, basically, corn and junk that they don't want to put in anything, but they'll give it to fish because it gets them big, and then you eat them and whatnot. But again, that's not what fish eat. So obviously, it just makes sense, right? And so those of you that are out there right now that can make a difference, and you say, oh, grass-fed's too expensive. That's why you got to buy it from a farmer, though. To buy a ribeye or anything like that from grass-fed source, it's nuts to buy it just by itself. But we pay under $5 a pound for our entire cow, and that's butchered and everything, and we're getting grass-fed hamburger, we're getting grass-fed steaks, we're getting, everything. And thank God, because my wife loves steak. And so, for us to eat a steak, we'd basically go broke to try to eat steak 2 or 3 or 4 times a month. But instead, it's not breaking the bank. We can have it, whenever we want. Obviously you get different cuts and all that fun stuff, but you can't go crazy unless you get a whole cow or however many, whatever. But you guys see where I'm coming from. So if you need help finding people that make these kind of meats, look at things like eatwild.com. That's a website that's out there where you can actually, they have farms all over the place. You can find anything from chickens to anything on a farm, pork, this, that, and the other. Pigs are not, let me check again here, I'm getting close. So pigs are not even, they're not super great for you because they don't detox the way that a cow or a chicken might, because they detox like we do. So they may be a little more toxic. So that's an even more reason, if you're going to eat pork, you want to make sure that pork is as healthy as it can be. Again, I wouldn't eat a ton of it, but if you're going to do it, you want to make sure it's like a free range pork where it eats things like tubers and just whatever it can find instead of just a bunch of junk. Pigs will eat anything. I mean, we used to throw beer cans in the pig farm and they would eat that. I'm not telling you where, because that's, seems inhumane, but, we were kids. But yeah, I mean, they'll eat anything. They'll eat humans. They'll eat whatever. It doesn't matter. And so you have to understand that that's what you're eating, is everything that they're eating, and pigs will eat anything. And so when you're going to get your pork, try to do the best you can. Now, if you're out and you're at a restaurant and it's once in a million, eat whatever you want. But, on a day-to-day basis, that's what either creates success or failure for you and your family. And, I'm just tired of hearing people how they, unfortunately, and I'm not judging, but you just sit here and you listen and there's a better way. There's a way that these people can be healthier and happier, and it doesn't have to break the bank. You just gotta, buy a quarter of a cow to start. See if you'll eat it. Then that's what we did. We went through that in about 6-8 months. So then we got a half. And that seems to be just about right for me and my wife and my daughter. And I mean, a half a cow for a whole family, and I don't even know what we pay for it, but I mean, I guarantee you over the long haul, we save a ton of money. And we're eating grass-fed, grass-finished, locally sourced beef that is going to create health for us for a lifetime. And it's worth it. It's worth it. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to be, worrying about Alzheimer's and cancer and all these things. If they come, then we'll address it. But if I can be doing things to prevent it now, I'm saving tens of thousands of millions of dollars in healthcare costs that could come up if I'm not doing what I need to do. So we've got a few more minutes, but I hope this video is if you don't take the time to invest, either you don't have to learn everything there is to know about everything. Once you have the information, and that's what this is about. Take my word for it. If you don't want to, go out and research as long as I have. It'll make your head spin when you start looking at all this stuff and how crazy this industry can be, and how sickening that it is that the animals that you eat on a daily basis, at least that are commercially grown and raised, just how gross that whole industry is. And so even more reason to eat something local, eat something grass-fed, grass-finished that has as little human impact on it as possible. So wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef, free-range chickens, all of those things, free-range eggs, locally sourced. I mean, even the organic eggs that you eat, and we can talk about that, and organic chickens. And organic doesn't mean healthy. Organic means that it just ate organic grains probably and things like that. So you want pasture raised, you want grass-fed, grass-finished. Those are the things you have to look for. And again, go to your local farmers markets. I know it can be a pain sometimes, but what can be a pain too is having to go to your doctor all the damn time. I mean, who wants to freaking go once a month to deal with this allergy and that allergy because they've been eating all these antibiotics? It's creating leaky gut and their guts are just shot. Again, leaky gut's something we'll talk about in the future. I mean, and it creates all of these different things. I mean, think of the hormones that you're not putting into your body, which is going to screw up your estrogen, screw up your testosterone, screw up everything. It's going to put your child into, they're going to hit puberty when they're 12 or 11 or 10 or 9, and instead of when they should. And so, again, there's a million different reasons why you should be doing these healthy meats versus these unhealthy meats. And so, just take the time, spend the money, spend the time to research this if you don't believe me, like I said, but take the time to make it important to you and your family. It's worth it. Like I said, it's worth it. It's going to make a healthier digestive tract, a healthier hormone system, a healthier bones and muscles and brain. I mean, everything revolves around the food that you eat. Obviously, too, everything that you do, and we'll talk about all of those essentials that you have to do on a weekly basis. But we're coming up on 15 minutes, so I want to keep it under that every single time. So even if I got to cut it off short, I will. But God bless you all. I hope this helps some of you. I know it's a brief snippet, but it's a huge snippet, because everything, you may eat meat 3 to 4 times a day sometimes, even in small amounts. And so make it healthy. Make it a healthy source. So God bless you. God bless your families. And please share this with every single person you know. And like I said, eatwild.com is a place that you can go to find some local stuff. If you have questions, Facebook me. I actually have a farmer that I work with locally, and I know that he'd be happy to help as well. So God bless. Have a great day.